Drinking in the afternoon. This is what October has done to me.
What is up, you freaky folks? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel, where I cover all things horror, whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And it's night number 9 of my 13 nights of Halloween special. We are getting so close to the end here. Halloween is right around the corner. So what do you say we talk about everyone's favorite Halloween movie, shall we? Trick or Treat is an anthology set in a small town in Ohio that goes all out for All Hallows Eve. 5 interwoven tales of terror include a serial killer, werewolves, mean teenagers, and one very special trick-or-treater. Like I said, this is everyone's favorite Halloween movie. The aesthetic in this one is off the charts. It is all Halloween all the time. Everyone is in costume, there's a Halloween parade, and there are jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. It really is the perfect thing to throw on around Halloween. But I have to admit that I don't love this movie the way that most of you guys do. Listen, I'm not here to be a contrarian. I know I am in the minority here. This is not at all an attempt of a takedown on Trick or Treat, because no one could pull that off. And listen, at the end of the day, this is a movie that I love to watch around Halloween, just like the rest of you guys. If anything, I may be a little too honest. While I enjoy this movie for what it is, it just doesn't entirely click with me. And I want to talk about that. One of the problems I have is that I think this movie was simply overhyped for me. Publications like Fangoria were praising Trick or Treat years before it even came out, and by the time I got to watch it, I just don't think it really matched what I had in my mind. I can see all of the fun that you might have with this movie, but the stories themselves, again, just don't really click with me. So let's talk about them. The first story is really just the opener. Leslie Bibb plays a nag of a wife who is taking down Halloween decorations when she is murdered in her own yard and turned into a decoration herself. Now, we don't know yet that Sam is the one who did the murdering, but we're just gonna go right to him because I love the idea of a Halloween entity that exists to hold up the traditions of the holiday. But he isn't explored well enough in order to make much of an impact aside from looking really damn cool. I actually really like this one and wish that it was fleshed out more into a full story and not just the opener. The second story follows Dylan Baker as a high school principal who doubles as a serial killer. He's burying the body of a boy in his backyard as his son yells at him through the window, totally giving him away. And this is my main problem with Trick or Treat. It has such a twisted sense of humor that I can't fully get into the horror or the comedy. It's supposed to be so funny to see this guy trying to get away with murder, and honestly, it kind of just falls flat to me. Also, logistically, this is the one that I have the most problems with. Like, why on earth is he burying a body in his own backyard? Everyone knows you take your fresh bodies to a second location. And how did he get that severed head into the basement so fast? I think I missed something there. But at the end of the day, like, is he really just gonna leave his tiny child home alone on Halloween night to go to the parade and do some more murdering? Just, this one as a whole doesn't even make sense to me, and it's my least favorite of the stories. The third story involves a group of teens who pull a prank on a nerdy girl, but she turns the tables on them and leaves them for dead when a group of ghouls rise up for revenge. This is probably the best of the stories. It is so classic Halloween, and it has a scary story within a scary story, but it kind of just happens and then it's over. The best part is Rhonda crossing paths with Sam. The fourth story is the werewolf one, and it is my favorite. Anna Paquin plays Lori, a young woman looking for a date to go to a Halloween party with her and her friends. Once we get to this party in the woods, we learn all of the women are werewolves and their dates are prey. Lori brings the serial killer from story number 2 to be her first victim, and this is the one that works the most for me because I enjoy the reveal of the werewolves, and it's the one story where I think we have a character who deserves their comeuppance. But my problem with this one is that most of the story is spliced in with the earlier ones, and I can hear your argument that it kind of needed to do that in order to work, but on its own, once you put those scenes together, There really isn't much story there, and then it just kind of ends. The last story is barely not my least favorite. In it, Brian Cox plays a crotchety old hater who is targeted by Sam in his home. Now, I like stories where you have a character in one single location up against a threat. I just did a video on the House of the Devil. I really like this scenario, but I don't care at all about Brian Cox's character, and you're definitely supposed to. And he goes through his entire ordeal with Sam only to end up being taken out by those school bus schools. Like, what the hell was that about? Throughout so much of this movie, I feel like it is focused on the opposite of what I want it to be focused on, and that just comes down to personal preference. The tone and the comedy just don't really work for me most of the time, and while the editing does create this interwoven narrative that we don't see done very well in anthology films, ultimately, it just makes some of the stories feel disjointed to me. I'm gonna give Trick or Treat a 2.5 out of 5. It's an aesthetically driven comic book of a movie that is the perfect thing to throw on any October evening. It just doesn't click with me personally. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure this is a 5 out of 5 for a lot of you, and that is totally okay. For all of my complaining, I'm not here to make the argument that this movie is secretly bad or you're all wrong for liking it. Not at all. I totally see myself as the odd one out who doesn't get to enjoy this super fun Halloween movie. I like it on a surface level. I just don't really care for any of these characters or the stories that they exist within. Thank you guys so much for watching this 13 Nights of Halloween video. I greatly appreciate you spending spooky season with me. This has been so much fun, and I know we're all super busy right now, so the fact that you're taking the time to watch these videos, it truly is just, you know, it just lights my jack-o'-lantern. What can I say? Make sure to come back tomorrow for night number 10 of my 13 Nights of Halloween. We're gonna be, you know what? You'll see. You'll see what happens. Until then, feel free to follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss any creepy content. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.